tensions are running high, no doubt, because the college students have started protesting in their respective colleges. We have been seeing protests happening for a week now, where people are using social media to gather people for a common cause, that is for Jallikattu.
The DMK has announced a statewide agitation on all the district headquarters tomorrow. It's a protest against the central government and the state government, which is actually not taken into consideration the wishes of the people.
It's not one man's issue, or this is not a political issue. This is a state issue. All Tamil Nadu people want Jallikattu to be back.
You have to wait for it. Now they say, no, Jallikattu is coming on 14th. So what? You have it next year. What is this is a permanent festival. If the Supreme Court grants it, if the Supreme Court does not agree, then we can bring an ordinance. But you have to wait for it.
This is a sports celebrated during every Pongal holidays. It's linked with the peasants' life and their culture.
Jallikattu events, bulls are poked with sticks, they're jabbed with knives, they're made to drink alcohol, their eyes are rubbed with tobacco and chili pepper. So looking at all this evidence in 2014, the Honorable Supreme Court of India, the learned judges banned this particular game.
Well, the debate rages on as Pongal this weekend comes up that should Jallikattu be allowed. Is there a risk of defiance of that Supreme Court order, as people might go ahead and celebrate it anyway? Animal rights activists say that the Supreme Court order is final. The state government, they're saying that the central government needs to step in with an ordinance. The central government asking the state government to hold its horses and to wait. The question we're asking is very simple. Is it tradition over cruelty for animals? What should the decision be? Feel free to call in and weigh in your decisions. Joining me on the show this evening, Kailash Vasdev Senior Advocate, Gauri, Maulekhi, animal rights activist. C. Rajashekaran, he's an advocate who's also a strong advocate for the festival and the celebration of Jallikattu. Rahul, Easwar, philosophy author and activist, and Poorva Joshipura CEO, PETA India. Poorva, I'm going to start with you to make your opening arguments. Based on what we've just heard, an entire state saying that this is part of our tradition. It's been going on for ages. There's been a lot of writing about the fact that no animals are actually really harmed in this festival. What are your arguments to keep Jallikattu banned through this Pongal, at least for this weekend?
Okay, well, this is cruelty. It is not culture. We're talking about a cruelty which the highest court of our country has been deemed illegal, has said that it is against the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960. And what is so cultural about a mob of grown men pouncing on bulls, terrifying them to the point that they run, they slip, they fall, they often break their bones, sometimes they die. These bulls are deliberately weakened with alcohol, with chilies in their eyes, with tobacco in their eyes. Their tails are twisted and broken. They're jabbed and stabbed with sickles, spears, and knives. All of this has been submitted to the court. And it's not only animals who suffer. Over a 4-year period from 2010 to 2014, when Jallikattu was allowed, the media reports suggest that over 1,000 people were injured and 17 people died. There was an illegal Jallikattu which was recently held in Karnataka where 2 people died. I mean, the deaths of these humans is now on the conscience and on the people who are standing for this cruel spectacle despite it being deemed illegal. We already know that other forms of so-called traditions we now consider cruelty. Sati, child marriage, harassment for dowry. We recognize that for human beings. We now have to recognize that for animals too.
Right, Rahul Easwar, your response to that this is cruelty, this is not culture. That was the opening argument that Poorva gave us. This is cruelty, it's not culture. And over the years, there have been several things that were considered part of culture that were outlawed. Rahul Easwar.
2 points. I am a Hindu right-winger, but listen to an atheist, left-winger, secular person like Kamal Hassan, who said, if you want to ban Jallikattu, ban biryani first, stop eating non-veg first. Why do we have double standards in India? Nobody, even September 16, 2016, when Supreme Court was asked to have some kind of a restriction on Bakrid, Supreme Court said it is not in our purview and we don't want to enter it. When you can have Bakrid, when you can have horse racing in Lutyens, Delhi, when you can have elephants parading for circuses, nobody has a problem. When a bull has to run for 50 meters, it becomes a huge problem. What about slaughtering of cows? Don't you feel pain when cows are being slaughtered? But cow slaughtering is communal, but banning Jallikattu is secular and liberal.
Yes,
this is the kind of false narrative these people have taken, and these things will not be tolerated. We will go to any extent to fight our cause. I believe Honorable Supreme Court will be sensitive, culturally sensitive to the Dravidian sentiments, to these Tamil sentiments, and at the end of the day, Supreme Court will recognize the merits of our argument and hopefully will allow Jallikattu.
Well, Poorva, I'm going to bring you in, but first I have Gauri Maulekhi, who's also
okay,
here.
First of all, if you know anything, okay, sure.
Okay,
sure.
I want to bring in Gauri Maulekhi as well. Opening arguments from all of our panelists, and then I'll give you a chance to rebut what Rahul said. Gauri, Rahul's saying, if you're going to ban Jallikattu, you should also ban non-vegetarian food and the slaughter of cows. Do you see, a parallel there? Is that something you want to respond to?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a very childish and uninformed statement made by Mr. Kamal Hassan some time back, equating Jallikattu with eating of biryani. Well, film actors are not necessarily experts on law, maybe, which is why he made such a statement. Food for mankind can be sourced from animals, and that kind of provision is there in the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. However, how they have to be slaughtered is being reviewed by the Supreme Court even now, and various orders of the Supreme Court have come out regarding how the slaughter needs to be done, in what conditions the animals can be transported for slaughter, and various other things, various stages such as stunning, skinning, everything, even the pollution standards of the slaughterhouses are being reviewed by the Supreme Court. Those orders need to be studied by the activist. However, the other thing is that the culture that they go on harping on, no culture can be above the Constitution of India. In 1947, when we became an independent country, we adopted the Constitution of India, and that bestows upon the duty on every citizen on this country to uphold a scientific temperament and to show compassion to all environment and creatures in it. So whatever cultures and traditions we may have had, like untouchability and like Poorva has already mentioned, sati and child marriage and all of that, have been reviewed and phased out and removed from our Indian culture, so that we bring in ahimsa as the bedrock of all culture. Now, all these arguments have been made in the Supreme Court. It's not that the Supreme Court has given this order in a knee-jerk reaction. These arguments have gone on for years. Jallikattu in the court of law has been for 15 years. There could not be any more debate on it. All the stakeholders have been heard, all state governments have been heard, all impleaders have been heard, bull breeders have been heard, Jallikattu organizers have been heard, and finally the argument has been given. The cruelty is intrinsic, the damage to humans is irreparable and completely unnecessary. Hence the custom needs to be changed. Pongal needs to be celebrated in a non-violent manner, not in this fashion.
Let me bring in C. Rajashekaran. C. Rajashekaran, the argument here is that no one is above the Constitution, no one is above the Supreme Court, and the arguments are closed now that the Supreme Court has given us its judgment. But I want to ask you to share with our viewers, because this is a national channel, Rajashekaran, explain to our viewers why this festival is so important to the people of Tamil Nadu. Why is it so tied into the honor of the people of Tamil Nadu that we are seeing protests right now outside of Anna University, outside of colleges in Chennai? Explain to us why it's so important.
See, first of all, people who understand Tamil Nadu and Tamil culture will definitely not oppose Jallikattu, because they will definitely apply their mind in speaking to the media or wherever they are speaking against Jallikattu. They will not speak, because the Tamil tradition goes way long back to Sangam culture that as many people are being saying in the media, national debates and all that, it's 5,000 old culture. See, I am not harping upon culture alone. It is the sport. Jallikattu is a sport. It is not cruelty to animals. For the past 50 years, of course, 15 years the case was in the Honorable Supreme Court. The Honorable Supreme Court has always reflected the sentiments and the emotions of the people of any state for that instance. And there are so many sports like this played in each and every state. Likewise, you have yak ride in Kashmir and you have camel ride in Rajasthan, Gujarat. So all these are going on. Nobody has banned yak ride in Kashmir or camel ride or horse race, other rekla race. All this has been going on. Why stepmother treatment to Tamil Nadu? I can understand one point. There is a huge conspiracy against Tamilians who are always in the forefront of any profession, because we are the most highest tax-paying state in the country, and we are having a very good growth and resource in the field of agriculture. And due to this lack of Kaveri water, because the Supreme Court had ordered the Karnataka government to give us water, they didn't give. They didn't obey the Honorable Supreme Court.
No,
order.
Rajashekaran,
There was no contempt proceedings against them. Likewise, I'll tell you, there is a strong comparison which I want to emphasize here. See, likewise, when it comes to Tamil culture, there is schematically vested interests are trying to eliminate the Tamil culture from the public space, because they want Tamil culture to flourish, because we are, see, the vested interest is whoever is operating from behind the scenes. I don't want to be so blatant in naming them, which is not fair also, because there are so many other players.
No, but Rajashekaran, this is a ruling come out from the Supreme Court. Are you questioning the Supreme Court's?
No, Supreme Court has not given the judgment. See, it is pending before the Honorable Supreme Court. Let the verdict come out. We will definitely hope and wish that it will be a positive judgment in favor of Jallikattu. And see, these activists and the so-called NGOs cannot speculate and influence Supreme Court's judgment. It is ridiculous on their part to say that the Supreme Court is going to do this. How can you speculate and influence the order of the Supreme Court? The wisdom of the Supreme Court is above any individual. How it had given a judgment in favor of...
Let me bring in Poorva. Poorva, respond to the fact that this is a conspiracy. There are activists here who are part of a conspiracy. Respond to that accusation being made by Rajashekaran right now.
Okay, first of all, that is an absolutely ludicrous assertion, because this is a national level law, a central government law, which applies to the whole of India. The Environment Ministry ban on the use of bulls for performances also applies to the whole of India. It has nothing to do with specifically Tamil Nadu. Bull races are banned, bullfighting is banned, dog fighting is banned, cockfighting is banned, the use of certain species of animals in circuses is banned, the use of certain species of animals in film is banned. This is a national and an international trend away from cruelty to animals, plain and simple. And PETA has many Tamil supporters who absolutely consider this cruelty to bulls unacceptable and as appalling as any person who has a heart for animals. So it is an absolute false thing to call it. To claim it as Tamil culture. It is just outright cruelty.
It is.
And actually, there's only a few districts in Tamil Nadu that have been playing Jallikattu in any case. This is not something that has been...
Poorva also responds to what Rajashekaran said, that by that argument...
As is being portrayed.
We should also be banning then horse racing and camel racing by the argument of cruelty against animals for sport, because you said that's the difference for sport and for food. So is there a campaign then? Why not ban horse racing?
I hope one day that it is banned. Because we have to work toward goals for kindness to animals, and I certainly hope that those things are banned one day. But we can't point to one cruelty and justify another cruelty. We can't say, oh, because somebody eats meat, I can now go and chase a bull to the point that they break their bones.
Okay, Gauri, you have a rebut on why horse racing should not be banned, why the derby should not be stopped?
because the lobby is so strong.
No, not
they are too
not
powerful.
that they should not be stopped, but they are regulated, and those regulations have worked. Now, will you let me limit that? Okay. The horse races have been regulated to such an extent that only 8 whips are allowed, if I'm not wrong. 8 whips are allowed for a horse to finish the race before a horse finishes its race. And that is done in a very controlled environment. Thousands of people are not thronging to bring the horse down or injuring themselves or the horse in the process. However, we will not go to the extent of saying that horse races
is all before 2009.
humane practices and must be carried on. These are just that is just something that has been regulated.
You are exposing your double standards.
If we all have to speak all together, then there's no point.
No, let her make a point. Later make a point, Rajashekaran, I'll come to you.
Came up with the Tamil Nadu Regulation of Jallikattu Act. Tamil Nadu government made a Tamil Nadu regulation for Jallikattu Act. The Supreme Court allowed the act to take force during one Jallikattu season, and it was seen on the ground by the observers put by the Supreme Court that the act had no force at all, because the sport, as Mr. Rajashekar wants to call it, is intrinsically such that thousands of people have to throng and control the bull and bring it down, in which a lot of people and a lot of animals are injured. Most of the animals that lose a limb or whatever, in any case, go for slaughter. It's not that it's a conservation program. I would go to the extent of saying it's not even a sport, because a bull is not a willing participant. The bull is actually a bewildered and tortured creature that is completely unnecessarily dragged into this culture without its consent. So how can it be a sport? Whoever wins the prize, or whoever gets wins a bet or a gamble, the bull is the loser in Jallikattu.
Right,
in every aspect. Whether it wins or it doesn't win, it is a loser.
I also have Kailash Vasdev joining on this show, but Rajashekaran, respond. Go ahead.
See, I want to come in here. See, this is a one-day sport being played in Alanganallur and all other places of southern Tamil Nadu and central Tamil Nadu. See, this bull is being nurtured, fed well, taken care the whole of the year, 364 days. The bull is taken care in the highest level of best treatment is given. So, all these people, the so-called activists, are talking about cruelty. You think the 364 days the bull is being poked with knives or being hit on the... this is all ridiculous, and they should apply their mind.
No, but Rajashekaran, for that one day, if the bull is being poked with knives and having chili powder put in its eyes, Rajashekaran, for that one day, for the one day.
That is before let me finish. It is all these allegations
are before
2009.
I have a question. Is Mr. Rajashekaran a lawyer?
All this.
He is, in fact.
See, 2009, before that all these visuals were taken. But after the Tamil Nadu Jallikattu Regulatory Act was enforced, the moderators, the committee was there, and everybody were monitoring it. There was no such incident. So all these people took the visuals, old visuals, and now say that they are doing all this, which is not at all fair. See, I'm not talking only on the culture.
All right, let me bring in Kailash Vasdev. He's a senior advocate who argues in the Supreme Court. Kailash Vasdev, thank you for joining us. You've heard the arguments so far. On one hand, animal rights activists say it's cruelty, it's not culture. On the other hand, it's a question of tradition, it's a question of culture, it's a tradition of the pride and of the people of Tamil Nadu. Do you believe that Jallikattu should remain banned, Kailash Vasdev?
See, this is an area which is now cutting into peculiar grounds, because being a lawyer in the Supreme Court and the Supreme Court having taken a decision, one would have to say that the Supreme Court has passed its judgment on contest. So it has considered all aspects of the matter in 2014. On the other side, if you look at the situation as it stands, Jallikattu is an event which has been taking place for 5,000 years. The purpose was cultural, it is all sorts of economics also which come into play over here. Today we have decided to stop Jallikattu on basic principles which are there in the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. The Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act has two facets. A, you protect the animal. B, you also permit culling. Section 11 does provide for it. Culling is not happiness to the animals, it is also cruelty. But you've got to maintain a balance between natural requirements of the animals as also what social and cultural ethoses take place in society. Let me draw your attention to a few facts here. The aspect of playing with bulls has been a tradition in many countries. America has the rodeo. The eastern countries of Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, they have their bull festivals where they play with water with the bulls. In Assam, you have the same thing. In Goa, you have the bullfight, which was banned in 1996, but still goes on because that's a tradition. This particular event in Tamil Nadu, which is also widespread in certain other parts of South India, is an event which is a matter of challenge for the village folks. It gives the poor farmer an opportunity to produce a bull which does give him a little bit of income. It's a tradition, it's a convention, it's a way of life. Can you test both these on the same anvil? Cruelty to animals on one side, because eventually the bull is looked after, it is not killed.
Yes, you can.
Unlike what happens in the Spanish rodeo, in the Spanish bull rings, where you're entitled to kill a bull. Here you cannot kill the bull, you've got to respect it. You've got to mount the bull, you've got to take the prize away from its horns. My personal view is a balance has to be struck.
Scenario
you cannot
over there.
destroy
the Parliament
a tradition.
of Spain passed a law to ban Spanish bullfights.
Correct.
The judiciary
there
of
the
Spain
Parliament
has struck
took
it
a
down.
decision
So there's a totally different scene
because
in
of the
Spain.
animals. That's right.
To ban bullfights.
So, in Spain.
That's
here
right.
it is a totally
and
different position.
While on a very technical ground, the judiciary of Spain has stuck it down. So it's right now also in process. Right now also they are in the process of removing those technical difficulties. However,
it's back again.
Spain does not have the Constitution of India. It doesn't have Article 51 AG.
So,
Gauri
Maulekhi, respond to what Kailash Vasdev is saying.
Yeah. I'm not on the... No, one second. No, wait. We are going into the issue of constitutions and laws. They're going to their own laws. It is not that those countries don't have laws. Our constitution is different. We have gone by an act in striking down the Tamil Nadu.
Let us then go into the issue of what the other states are doing. Let me tell you, as on today, in Assam, where the buffalo fights, let me give you examples from the other states. If Tamil Nadu is feeling secluded, if Tamil Nadu is feeling isolated...
Gauri, go ahead, and then Poorva. One at a time, please.
I am not... Look,
basically, if Tamil Nadu is feeling isolated, let me give you some examples.
These are matters which are cultural.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I have just one thing to put out there. 1 second, Kailash Vasdev, there's also a ruling that came out about the Victorias, which are the horse carriages drawn in Mumbai, which have been around for a very, very long time. But the courts have basically decided,
in Delhi.
Yes, that they are effectively illegal. And they have to wind down their business in the next 1 year, which has to happen in the next 1 year, basically deciding against the cruelty against the animals who were drawing those carriages. Now, there were people who were dependent on those carriages for livelihood. A lot of people said that they're part of the tradition of Bombay.
But you see, what happens
how is this different? Explain to us how this is different, Kailash Vasdev, and then the other panelists can respond.
I will tell you the difference. The answer to this is very simple. When you're using a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage, the horse is under pressure. He sustains injuries. It is possible that if the horse is overrun, they will tire out. So that is an aspect of cruelty which is dealt with in the Animals Act. Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. Jallikattu is a protected action which is protected by the state, by a 2011 act in Tamil Nadu. It was struck down essentially because it was in violation of the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. Once again, it was based on a report which came in 2013 by a group of observers appointed by the Supreme Court from the animal rights activists. So therefore, the 2014 judgment came. The fact is, the Supreme Court has looked into these matters and then decided to strike down an act. But can you possibly turn around and say that the people don't have a right to their cultural rights? They have a cultural right guaranteed under the Constitution. That's the flip side of the argument.
All right, fair enough. Let's get responses.
Horse carriages, horse carts. It was done in Delhi. Delhi also horse carriages went.
Yes. May I come in here?
So horse carriages were stopped in Delhi. The Ikka races have been stopped.
Sensitivity.
No, just give me a minute and then you can come in.
All right. Kailash Vasdev. Kailash Vasdev, let Kailash Vasdev finish his argument and then everyone can
overlook. My answer to you is you cannot possibly take away cultural sensitivities which have been in vogue for hundreds and thousands of years. Take it away to an extent that the right of the human being is also considered.
Okay.
Let me put it to you on the flip side. Today we have orders from the courts based on certain public interest petitions. Now public interest is not meant for everything.
Okay.
Public interest is a limited domain. It should come in where it is necessary for the people who are not able to defend themselves.
I totally agree.
Therefore the damage is not to the animal. The damage is not to the animal, it is to the human being.
Whose independence or choice to their culture has been taken away. Right. Rajashekaran, go ahead.
Yes. No. He has opted to go there.
See, there is a solution
he has opted to go there.
See, if
he
the
had opted not to go there, he wouldn't die.
To reflect and consider the people of Tamil Nadu's plea and their emotions and sentiments to be accepted by the Government of India, they can amend the rules of prevention to cruelty or to animals and pass an ordinance and say that this year you can definitely proceed with Jallikattu. Everything is in the hands of the central government.
All right, I have
I believe central government should take the action.
I have Gio Mathur who's on the phone line from Chennai. Gio, go ahead very quickly. Tell us what you have to say.
Hello.
Yes.
Is it hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Madam, my question is for ma'am who is against Jallikattu.
Yes.
Have they ever visited Tamil Nadu for Pongal?
All right. You want to know if they've ever visited? Gauri Maulekhi, have you ever visited Tamil Nadu during Pongal and witnessed Jallikattu yourself?
Yes, I have.
Yes, you have.
In fact, it was so gruesome in Alaganallur. I could not even watch the whole thing. Just to see them standing in the line waiting for
what was gruesome?
You eat non-vegetarian?
It's theatrics. It's purely theatrics which Gauri is trying to prove.
The main cruelty that happens to the animal is not when it is being tamed in the arena. It is when they are standing before the arena and tortured and incited, and after they run off from the arena and thousands of people throng on them. Those are the footages that must be seen. Those are the footages that have been brought before the Supreme Court.
That is before 2009, not now.
Can I, hello?
That was before when there were regulations. Okay. Please be honest.
It is not.
All right, I have the same question for Poorva Joshipura.
What regulation? Everything has been regulated, re-regulated. Again, the same things happen. We are watching footages from yesterday. What regulation you're talking about? Yesterday's footages being shown in the media show that the animal is completely incited, bewildered, is getting injured, people are thronging on it. What are you talking regulation? It is completely unregulated. Please do not underestimate the intelligence of the Honorable Supreme Court. Do not undermine the detailed orders given by...
Please don't underestimate the intelligence of Tamil community. Please don't underestimate the cultural sensitivities of 6 to 7 crores of people. Not only Supreme Court has people have wisdom. Please don't underestimate the wisdom of 6 to 7 crore Tamil people.
There's one thing that needs to be made very clear. What these people are saying is not the majority feeling of the Tamil people. Jallikattu is not the only thing that shows Tamil culture. Pongal has not been banned. Pongal can be celebrated in so many different ways.
Should we thank you for that? Should we express our gratitude because Pongal is not being banned?
Activities associated.
Are we living like second-class citizens in our own nation?
This ruckus and holding a whole state to hostage.
This is highly insensitive.
Abetting and aiding some crime,
and highly contemptible. Graciousness from you.
All right, one second. If we all shout at each other, the audience can't understand us. I want to ask the same question to Poorva Joshipura. The question that came in from our Poorva is the CEO of PETA. The question that came in from our viewer.
Let me finish this.
Yeah. All right, Gauri, finish very quickly, and then I'll go over to Poorva. Gauri, finish.
Yeah, basically as on today in Assam, buffalo fightings have been completely stopped because their High Court stepped in and said buffalo fighting is not allowed. Bull fighting used to happen during Sankranti. As on today, I have confirmed they have transformed the whole grounds where the fights used to happen into bazaars. That's going to now take place. No fights will happen. In Uttarakhand, judiciary stepped in, said no animal sacrifice. Now those very temples that used to hack away buffaloes like crazy people have turned into beautiful palanquins. They have a palanquin contest or blood donation contest. You know, people from villages come and donate blood to needy people. That's the kind of culture we require. In Himachal Pradesh, judiciary stepped in, stopped the animal sacrifice completely. In a temple where 10,000 buffaloes were slaughtered, and they used to call it their culture, have shifted completely to better customs and cultures. So many of these customs have been changed. Tomorrow, if some high-class Brahmins come on the road and protest and say, we don't want scheduled castes with us, are we going to just appease the
Rajashekaran, respond to that. Rajashekaran, respond to that. Rajashekaran, respond to that. Where is the comparison? Rajashekaran, respond to that.
See, I'm really sorry the way all these activists are projecting Jallikattu, comparing with caste, on the communal angle, religion angle. All these are bizarre and absurd arguments put forth by these, these so-called activists. They don't apply their mind.
Politics in Tamil Nadu. That is about it. And the politicians have only jumped in to bake their own pies at the last minute. Where were these politicians? Why were these politicians not contesting in court? Why were these politicians not pleading in the court and putting their points of view over there? Why are they only in the media in the last minute, 2 days before Sankranti? Why are these politicians coming to only the media 2 days before Sankranti? Why were they not in the Supreme Court putting forth their arguments, guiding the Supreme Court? No, they were not there. They were absent.
Just give me a line. We are coming to the media. When you can come to the media, even we have the right to come to the media. As a lover of Jallikattu, I don't represent any political party. I don't know what he's saying. I'm a lover of Jallikattu.
No. Okay, so Rajashekaran and Rahul Easwar. Rajashekaran, the truth is that this has come up again in the last 4 days. So respond to that question, that is it being politicized in Tamil Nadu for political gain?
Your media is only focusing on for the past 4 days.
Yes,
the protest has been going on for many days. People have been petitioning, have been using social media, and see how cleverly the so-called activists use the caste and reservation angle. This is their agenda. They are having hidden agendas to destabilize, to paint us black, to have defaming our Tamil brothers. Please come, Jallikattu. All the bulls are a part of family. They are a part of divinity. They are never being tortured. But these people have an ulterior motive. And when asked about horse racing, they say we will consider it. When asked about God slaughter, they will say we will think about it later. Why don't you stop slaughter first rather than running of the bull? Why don't you stop slaughter first rather than the running of the bull? They won't dare touch because they have ulterior agendas.
It is so easy. Excuse me. You have spoken. All
right, Poorva, go ahead.
Yes. Yeah, it is so easy to point fingers at somebody else, but it's much harder to clean our own house first, and that's exactly what we need to do. By the way, PETA is a vegan advocacy organization. We campaign against meat eating and the consumption of animals every single day, but that does not make Jallikattu right or kind. And by the way, the question was asked whether we have been to Jallikattu. Yes, we have. We have been to Jallikattu. We have gone to the police as a result, filing case after case of cruelty to animals that were found in Jallikattu. And you don't have to go to Jallikattu to know it's cruel, just like you don't have to go to a slaughterhouse to know that it is cruel. The most important people who've gone to Jallikattu are the Animal Welfare Board of India government-appointed inspectors. This is a government body which is actually Chennai-based.
No, but
they have found and documented that these bulls are deliberately terrified. You know, Jallikattu is so indefensible. We have this person coming here on TV and lying about it. If you're going to defend it, at least be real about it. It is a game where the bull is deliberately terrified to the point that they run. They're so scared. They fall, they slip, they often break their bones, they get severely injured. This is not how anybody should treat a so-called family member. I'm glad I'm not part of your family. You know, we would never send our child into an arena where a whole bunch of men are chasing and taunting this person to the point that they might even reach their death. And we shouldn't do that to animals either.
But you will send it to horse racing, right?
We share a lot in common with animals. They have feelings like us. They have emotions. They can feel pain. They do not want to be put into this situation. You know, just like some children cannot speak for themselves, we stand up for them. Well, we have to stand up for animals too. We are not living in the past.
Okay.
If you think you're living in the past, then you should do away with your cell phone. You should do away with your television set. We have to modernize, and we have to recognize our own responsibility as Indian citizens under our constitution.
Okay, all right.
Our culture is one of kindness. It is not one of cruelty. I am absolutely appalled that we're giving examples of other
Don't
countries.
do moral policing,
India
madam.
we need to just look to ourselves. We know how to treat cattle. We're supposed to treat cattle with kindness. That's in our culture.
All right. Let me bring in Rajan, who's on the phone line right now, after which Kailash Vasdev will respond to Poorva. Rajan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, I have two questions to Poorva Joshipura.
Yes. Go ahead.
One question is, did Poorva Joshipura come to Tamil Nadu, and since he watched Jallikattu 1 year, do you know thinking how to grow bulls and how to use in agriculture? Nothing she doesn't know. The second one is, how much amount does PETA spend in adoption of animals? I know how much they are spending in adoption of animals. I have to know that question to her.
All right. So Rajan's question, Poorva, is first of all, how often have you visited Tamil Nadu? Have you actually been witness to the bull being raised by the family? Second question was, how much money is PETA spending on an annual basis in adopting and looking after animals?
Anybody who is our member can look through our annual reviews and see how much we spend. Every single rupee that we get, we spend on supporting animals and caring for animals. The question again is, I've been to Tamil Nadu many times, but the question is not whether I've been to Tamil Nadu. You can see anybody with a heart. Doesn't matter if they're from Mars or they're from Venus or if they're from some other place, some other country or some other place in India. Anybody with a heart can see that this is cruelty to animals.
All right. Let me get a response in there, Kailash Vasdev, and then Sridhar Pabishetty, who joins us.
You can see it, and you can watch any video. You can watch any video of Jallikattu, and you can see that these men are pouncing on the bulls. You can see that these men are taunting the bulls. So, you know, there's no debate about it. The highest court of our country has recognized that this is cruelty to animals. That is not even something that should be debated at this stage. It is not up for debate. It has been established by the highest court of our country that this is against the law.
Kailash Vasdev, would you agree that if the highest court of the country has said being dumb, and I'm quoting here, being dumb and helpless, they suffer in silence. We notice that the situation is same across various other parts of this game. Forcing the bull, keeping it in a waiting area is not good for the animal's well-being. Does that end the argument then, Kailash Vasdev?
You see, the answer to that is simple. The act has been struck down, Jallikattu has been set down by the Supreme Court. They said it shouldn't be carried out. That is the law of the land as of today. You cannot get past that. But on the other side, the social ethos says that, look, the judgment may be of the court, but what about our traditions? Unfortunately, that has also been dealt with by the court. So today, if you have a Supreme Court judgment staring you in the face, where the act has been struck down, the subsequent notifications have been struck down, it would be very difficult for anyone to canvass the view that that Jallikattu can go on. That is the legal position. On the other side, you have a situation where this has been a tradition and people don't want to give it up. How do you balance that equation between the wants of the people, a festival which takes place once in a year at the Pongal time and which has been going on for so many years? You'll have to strike a balance somewhere in the larger interests of maintaining harmony between the people and the activists who want to ban this. Activists wanting to ban Jallikattu, to me, it seems a bit strange because the slaughtering of animals has been allowed, has been banned in many places, in many temples by the orders of the court. I give you a flip side of the case. Today, the culling of dogs, culling of monkeys has been virtually stopped. Do you see the consequence of it? Every now and then you hear days, in Delhi there are reports, there are a couple of, I think 50, 60 bites from dogs every day. In the Himachal area, Uttarakhand, Uttarachal and all those areas, monkeys have become a menace, farmers can't grow their crops. This has all come from orders of the courts as also activists. Where do you draw a balance between the human beings' rights and animals' rights? Culling is accepted under the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals Act. Where do you want to draw the line? You will have to protect human beings, you will have to give the human beings the right to do what is correct in their traditions, and you will also have to strike a balance that the animal population is not destroyed. Here is the question of today. Animal rights must realize, animal activists must realize that animals alone cannot supersede mankind.
Would you consider striking a balance over child marriage? It's not only animals who get hurt during Jallikattu, it's also human beings.
Let us not digress.
It's taking away
I am not going to answer your question.
Because when these men take part in Jallikattu,
So Poorva, let me just bring you back. Poorva, let me just bring you back to Kailash Vasdev's question, which is where do we draw the line between rights of humans and animal rights? And that was the question he asked.
1 second, ma'am. I must answer this lady. No. I have a bit of a caveat here. Do not bring in animal rights, do not bring in scheduled castes, do not bring in Brahmins. You are on a decision which is taken place at behest of PETA. PETA must answer where to draw the balance. You cannot have it one way. People have rights.
Brilliant, sir.
Do not bring in irrelevant
Brilliant
issues.
argument, sir.
Yes, they do have rights. That's exactly why people have the rights to live.
They have a right
People
to
have
live
the right
according
not
to
to
their
get injured
traditional
during
culture.
Jallikattu. People have the right not to die during Jallikattu. This is not just something that impacts animals. You know, if it was...
They have a right not to come.
Where do you draw the line? You draw the line at the law.
When they go for Jallikattu, they go there as a tradition.
The law is clear that it is banned. It is banned to cause animals unnecessary suffering.
The law is clear now.
It is banned.
Let me bring in Sridhar Pabishetty. Sridhar Pabishetty, do you want to respond to that? As I know that you stand against Jallikattu, but what are your arguments?
I think Kailash Vasdev brought it out very well in terms of saying it's a matter of balancing various interests, right? Thankfully, there's a law of the land today which says, the constitution says Jallikattu should not be held, right? And at the same time, there is provision in our constitution where the government of the day, the central government, can move an ordinance or legislate the appropriate modifications of balancing culture with sensitivity, right? We have seen gory images of cows that are being prodded which have been poked with instruments. Some people were biting tails. It may be isolated incident, right? There may be reforms, there may be regulations that are in place. I think that contestation is something for all of us to be engaged in a wider debate and say, how do you balance culture with rights of the animals?
It is a question of balance.
Should we look at?
Very true.
It's a question of balance. All right, let me just bring in. I have a couple of people on the phone line. Madhok Irani is on the phone line from Pune. Madhok, go ahead. Very quickly. What would you like to say?
Haji, I would just like to say that why are these people harassing these poor animals? Even they have emotions. They have feelings. Why do you harass the poor animals? You see, it is very cruel.
But
we are in this age where you have to look after animals. They are a part of the society. And we have the right to say all these things. There are many other spots which the people of Tamil Nadu can follow. Why drag the poor animals into this?
All right, why bring animals into it? Gunavati is on the phone line from Tamil Nadu. Gunavati, go ahead. Gunavati, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. What would you like to say? Gunavati, can you hear me?
Gentlewomen and men who are there and, against this.
Yes. All right, so we seem to have a bad connection there. Rahul, Easwar and Poorva.
Just
Rahul,
2
Easwar,
points.
Yes.
I think Kailash sir brilliantly articulated it. There needs to be a balance. And please, for God's sake, don't talk in such a grand manner where they say at least Pongal is not banned. We are not some kind of second-class citizen who ask you permission to conduct our Pongal. Please, when you speak with cultural sensitivity. India is a land of great diversity, and that's our secularism and pluralism. Please don't speak in such kind of a condescending manner where you say it should be grateful to them, the so-called North Indian Lutyens liberals, that at least Pongal is not banned. Is a very, very bad way to talk to South Indian people. There is a lot of cultural sensitivity involved, and give us strictest of regulations, give us harshest of regulations, but don't go for some kind of a blanket ban.
Rahul Easwar, I have a question
Any
for
regulation
you.
is acceptable.
Rahul Easwar, I have a question for you. Now, we know that there have been regulations for the manner in which Jallikattu has to be conducted. Do we know for sure that these regulations are being followed in every single village, Rahul Easwar? Do we know for sure that everybody is following
Very good
those
question, ma'am.
regulations?
Please have any kind of mechanism for that. Give the harshest of regulations, give the strictest of rules and guidelines, but don't do a blanket ban. That's against liberty. That's against freedom of expression.
Yes, Poorva, you think the regulations, Poorva believes the regulations are not being followed.
There were regulations in 2009. There were regulations in 2009. And the Animal Welfare Board of India inspections of Jallikattu after Jallikattu after Jallikattu not only found violations, but found that the deliberate panicking of these animals is inherently
Punish those
cruel.
violations.
And the
Why
Supreme
blanket
Court
ban?
found that a state law cannot contradict a central government law. The central government law says that it is illegal to cause animals unnecessary suffering. It's illegal to beat them, to pounce on them, to bite their tails, all which is part and parcel of Jallikattu. And nobody has banned Pongal. Many people, including many Tamil PETA supporters, celebrate Pongal in any
don't
number
say
of ways.
Pongal
they
again,
pray,
please.
They eat vegan sweets, they garland bulls, which is absolutely fine.
Again, you're going into the Pongal issue, which you shouldn't be
Nobody
touching.
has banned Pongal. They've only banned cruelty to animals. And by the way, this is absolutely no way to treat the real-life Nandis of Lord Shiva. You know, especially on an auspicious occasion like Pongal, which is supposed to be about
Poorva, stay with the
nature
topics. Poorva, stay with the topic, which is simply the proof.
Contradictory to that.
Okay, let's stay with the topic, which is the proof of any sort of animal rights violations. Kailash Vasdev, there is another case we should talk about. The Supreme Court before Janmashtami ruled that nobody under the age of 18 can participate in Dahi Handi rituals, and that the human pyramid should not exceed 20 feet.
Over 20 feet.
Yes. There were various groups in the city of Mumbai who decided to go ahead and violate that ruling. Are we setting a dangerous trend here? My concern is that if people go ahead and do and celebrate and conduct Jallikattu tomorrow, is there a dangerous trend there?
Please understand one fact, and here I would say with some trepidation.
I mean,
no, Kailash
in our
Vasdev.
judicial system today, you see, we have a judicial system which is now being forced to decide issues which shouldn't come before it. Give me a few minutes and I'll explain what I'm saying to you.
Yes, go ahead.
The public interest domain came into the courts in the 1980s, to defend those who couldn't defend themselves. The Bhagarpur blinding case, the people dying in Bhopal because of the gas leak. So the public interest domain was limited to defend those who were unable to defend themselves. The Bandhuva Mukti Morcha case, workers who had no rights, bonded labor. Today what has happened is that this public interest domain has become a publication interest domain. Everybody wants to be in the news. And the courts are being pressurized to look into issues which are not really judicial, but are essentially issues which affect life politic. We are walking into that. Today, a writ petition is filed, Prime Minister is corrupt. Tomorrow, a writ petition will be filed that Parliament is wrong. So you see, there are so many issues which shouldn't come into individual public interest domains. Today, when you have a debate with regard to a particular social action, Jallikattu, for example, to be ostracized, you have very different and divergent views. Are these matters for the court? Should we bring them to court? Court will decide if you come into it. It has decided the Jallikattu issue on contest because that is its job. Question is wider. Should we bring these things in? Is the judiciary capable of handling these situations? Ramifications are wide. A judgment is passed. There is a very interesting theory in law. The law has its limits. It passes an order. Can you implement it? In 1996, if I remember right, the Goa High Court bench passed an order saying that the bullfighting should stop in Goa. Today we're in 2016, it's still an annual function, it goes on. So the court orders then become redundant. They suddenly become issues of certain significance where you cannot implement a court order. The court is not in a position to implement the orders. See the orders on pollution from 92 onwards. This, that, all sorts of orders. They've all been followed in the breach. Hence it is time for all of us to wake up, even those of us who appear in courts, to give the court an authority to carry out a function which it is supposed to, not issue dictates and invite orders which it cannot implement. Jallikattu is going to be that. The Goa order has been that. The Assam orders have been there. Now the killing of animals.
It's not.
So public interest has to be limited.
Public interest has to be limited. Sridhar Papishetty, you want to respond to that? You're an activist.
I think Kailash Vasdev brings a very important question of saying any law of the land, is it implementable, is a good question to ask. But this unable to implement problem is not just limited to Supreme Court orders. Even the legislations that governments bring about, the legislatures bring about, are also not implementable to a large extent. So do we say that we will not have any laws at all? Our ability to implement has to improve, and that's when we will grow into a much better governed nation. And hence, non-implementable Supreme Court orders are just as bad as non-implementable legislations. So let's understand the problem is in both places, and I think improving administrative capability to deliver end administration is very important, and we all share the responsibility and pain of a dysfunctional law of the land that doesn't get delivered for whatever limitations. We all have to come together, we all have to make it work better, and balancing cultural sensitivities through legislative processes as well as basic rights through constitutional processes are a problem that we should welcome and have, and reach a much better equilibrium with reform in every sector.
All right. I know that both Rahul, Easwar and Poorva want to respond to this. Poorva, the argument that's being made now is that this is not a job for the courts. This is a job for legislation. This is a job for Parliament. This is a job for the state government.
But the court considered it to be a job for the court. If it wasn't a job for the court would have dismissed it. Of course it's a job for the court. The court accepted it. The court deliberated on it very, very carefully over the course of a number of years and passed judgment on it. Of course it's a job for the court. And it is an enforceable decision because it has been largely enforced. Jallikattu has been illegal, as has bull racing and bullfights for a number of years. Just because, yes,
Poorva, you told us that you've seen footage from yesterday.
Just one line, madam.
But in many of those cases, the police have acted. And the police are doing their job. Actually, when we have brought illegal cases of Jallikattu to their attention. So, I don't follow the argument that because there might be problems in enforcement that we don't work to uphold the law. I mean, it is all of our duties to uphold the law. And of course it is the duty of government officials under Article 144 of the Constitution to support the court. Government officials are supposed to uphold the law. They're not supposed to go.
Rahul, Easwar, I'm going to come to you, but first, Rahul, Easwar next. But first, I have Veron on the phone line. I have Veron on the phone line from Chennai, who's been holding for a while. Veron, go ahead. What would you like to say?
Yeah, I just want to say a few things like these bulls are trained how the sports persons are trained, and they have few series of steps where they take the bulls to the water and they train and they feed them very good food. They are not at all harshening the bulls. First thing. And the second thing to the Poorva, I want to ask one question like sitting on the horse is it like harshening the horse? And why are you saying the climbing on the...
Yeah, okay. All right. Veron, we heard you. Veron
just to raise one more point.
Yeah, all right. Rahul, Easwar, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm apologizing in
PETA
advance for
has
what I'm
been
going to
very,
say.
very
But with all great
instrumental
respect,
in
ma'am,
the
let
case.
me complete, please. Ma'am, let me complete, please. You had your say. I know I apologize in advance, but having said that, with all great respect to judges like Justice Deepak Misra, judicial activism is okay, but many a times judicial overreach is going to be a very serious issue on this. You cannot have a very myopic view of Indian diversity and cultural pluralism. Our Supreme Court judges, we consider them Pratyaksha Devatam, or seen gods in front of us. But they should be more culturally sensitive. Our nation is a very plural nation, and especially Tamil Nadu, there were even demands of Dravida Nadu at the time of our independence. They just emerged from some kind of a sub-nationalism to the more mainstream Indian nationalism. We should be more culturally sensitive, and there is a larger point in it, and I hope Supreme Court will take care of these aspects too.
Kailash Vasdev, in 30 seconds, can you very quickly tell us why you disagree with that?
Yes, but you are not the victim. The bulls are the victims. The bulls are the victims here.
I need a sentence.
So let's be very, very clear on that. It's the bulls who are being chased. It's the bulls who are being taunted. It's the bulls who are breaking their legs. It's the bulls who are whose tails
I'm
are being
out of
twisted
time.
and
I'm
hurt.
out of time.
It's the bulls who are the victims.
Okay, Poorva, I'm out of time. But the debate continues. On Twitter, we've seen arguments on both sides. Most polls are split down the middle. We'll keep a track on what's happening. In the meantime, people of Tamil Nadu and Chennai feel that it is their cultural right, their right to cultural expression to conduct Jallikattu tomorrow. We're going to be tracking to see what happens with the protests and with the festival tomorrow. Thanks for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks NOW. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks NOW. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks NOW.